Hey, welcome back to my allotment. So today I'm actually going to be harvesting my main crop potatoes because unfortunately a disaster has struck. Blight has hit. I've not had blight hit my potatoes for many years. It's been a very bad year for blight. The tomatoes are also affected. So I need to see what's going on in these containers. Obviously I've not been here for a few weeks. I didn't know I had blight because I was quarantined. So today we're going to tip out all of the crop and see what we've got. You know, I've been growing them in containers for the last few years because I have wireworm in my soil, which is a pest. And you may have already watched my harvest from earlier on in the year, my second early shallot crop, which was pretty good. But I'm just a bit apprehensive and a little bit nervous because I don't know what they're going to be like. You know, are they going to be rotting already because of the blight? Will they be really small tiddlers? You know, I like a good big main crop potato. I've got a few varieties here. We've got Cara, which is my absolute favourite because you get really big potatoes. We've got King Edward and Myan Rose as well. So yeah, it's time to see what we've got. I'm going to tip out the containers and see what the harvest is like. What should we start with? I think I want to go with the Myan Rose, see how they turned out. Ooh. So we've got quite weedy tops, but let's see what's in there. So this is Myan Rose. It was my substitute for Pink Gypsy, which is actually quite a good disease resistant variety, but I couldn't find it this year. So it's time for the reveal. Wow, the pot is so dry. It's not looking good, is it? Oh, one potato. Yeah, this compost, I don't know, just really hasn't done much for me this year. And the potato plant itself didn't really grow much at all. Wow, this is really, really poor. This is perhaps my worst potato bucket ever. Oh gosh. Yeah, that's not really very good. A few tiddlers. Not a great start. I actually forgot to put down this tarp before I did the first bucket, and the reason I'm putting it down is just basically to catch any small potatoes that I might miss. Now I usually wouldn't bother so much because, you know, I tend to spread the compost out onto the bed, but with blighted plants it doesn't matter if the leaves and foliage go on the compost bin, that's perfectly fine, same for tomatoes. But what you don't want is to have a little potato like this stay in the soil that has blight, because this is a living material. This will be dead material within not very long. It's going to compost and rot away on the compost heap. You don't want that growing next year and then having blight again because of this being in the ground, if it does have blight. This is another Myan Rose, so let's see if it's any better than the last one. Ooh, well, it seems a little bit wetter, this one. Hey, that's more like it, an actual decent sized potato. Hey, here we go. Wow, that is a stark contrast to the other plant. There we are, that's the whole thing. That will do nicely. Hey, that's a bit of an odd shaped one. Nice long one. And some more, still going. How strange is that? Such a stark contrast between the two. I wonder what was going on there. So all of these bigger ones, that is a much better crop. I'm pretty pleased with that one. Now I'm going to put all this spent compost back into the empty bucket, and I might be able to use it for other things. Now this is the last of the Myan Rose. This next variety is called King Edward, which is a British potato that's been in cultivation since 1902, so it's one of our oldest potatoes, and it's also fairly local to where I am. It's from Lincolnshire, which is actually like the next county over from Nottingham, and it's such a great all-rounder, but it's particularly good for roasting, baking, mashing, and making chips out of as well. Now, I haven't actually grown King Edward before, so I'm really interested to see how these have fared. Can't see any yet. Ooh, little one. Have we got any great big roasting potatoes? That's what I want to know. Or jacket? Not yet. So there, these are a nice white potato. Some little ones there. I think a lot of people are having small potatoes this year, and I'm not sure if people's have fared better in the ground. Is it weather related, or is it the quality of our compost or the seed potatoes? You know, what's going on in the world at the moment has really affected supply and demand. So some things, the quality is reduced because of that, but I'm getting quite a few from these. Oh, wow, I'm fairly pleased with those. Not a particularly heavy or big yield, but they'll make nice little roasties. And now for the second bucket of King Edward. Again, there should have been just one seed potato in this 20-litre pot. That's it from the second bucket of King Edward, and you know what, that is a pretty good crop considering. And now all that's left is the Cara, and it's been such a reliable potato for me for the last few years because of its resistance to diseases, and I just love that it's a great all-rounder as a potato. I just really hope that I can get a nice big one that I can use as a jacket potato. Please. Take my label. And there it goes. Ooh, what we're going to find? Well, not too bad. They are bigger, perhaps. Get all of that off. There we go. Well, I can jacket that. Happy days. Yeah, bigger than the King Edwards. Not as big as last year, by any means. But definitely, oh my gosh, there's still more. They keep rolling down. Wow. There we go. Despite the dryness, we're still getting good Cara potatoes. Well, they're definitely not as big as last year's, but I can definitely use that as a nice jacket potato, and roasties as well. They look a lot like the King Edwards, don't they? So best try not to get them muddled. So here's my main crop potato harvest for 2021, and I'm pretty pleased, to be fair. You know, considering they may have had blight, considering I've been off for a while and they didn't have that much water, the pots were really difficult to keep damp this year because of the compost. You know, I've got a few tiddlers here and there, which I don't mind, but I'm just so chuffed that my Cara have still done me proud and they may not be as big as they were last year, but I can still jacket them. You know, they're so much bigger than those King Edwards. I'm not sure if I'd grow this Myan Rose again. They're much different to the pink gypsy that I substituted them for. Obviously I haven't even tasted them yet, so that might change once I've done a taste test. Yeah, not overly impressed with the result of that so far, but also, you know, it's been a challenging year, and I think it's been quite a tough year for a lot of different crops and a lot of growers. I'm going to take these home now, store them, probably put them in the basement where it's cool and dark, either into a brown paper sack, or sometimes I actually use the tubs that I grow them in and just put sort of dry compost around them to keep them dark. And you know, particularly the Cara, you know, last year I had them store from when I harvested them in September, and I was still eating them as they were tasted fresh in March, April the following year. So they're really good at storing. It doesn't look like they've got any disease or damage. There's a little bit of scab there, but that's just a blemish really. They're still perfectly edible. That's just a sign that the pots did dry out. In fact, there's not that much sign of scab, which is quite surprising really, considering the pots were dry. But I can't see any sort of blackness from the blight, so fingers crossed. I've harvested them before the virus went down into the potato. Obviously I don't know 100% if they definitely have blight, because a lot of the stems had already completely died back. Some people ask me, can I eat blighted potatoes? And they might give you a bit of an upset stomach, and they will taste quite bitter. So if you find that your potatoes do taste bitter, then that could be why. But also, you know, when they start to go black and rotten looking, then you probably wouldn't want to eat them anyway. So thanks for joining me for my potato reveal. Let me know how yours have done in the comments. Is yours a similar picture? Are yours quite small this year? Let me know in the comments, particularly if you've been growing them in pots as I do. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.